Gilgeous-Alexander?
Well, they're getting a guy with excellent size. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is over 6'6". He's got a 7-foot wingspan. He's an excellent defender that I think shows very good toughness. He proved to be a good pick-and-roll ball handler toward the end of the season with a capable jump shot. He's a penetrating guard that can put the ball on the deck and get to the basket, and was especially good Reese's last 10 games. Over his last 10 with Kentucky, he averaged over 19 points per game, shot over 50% from three and 85% from the free throw line with just under 7 assists per game. So he continued to get better and better, but with his physical profile, the fact that he can play the point, he can handle it, and he can guard multiple positions and be a disruptive defender. And he's also a high character guy. He's a great kid, a Canadian kid that came in. He was on the bench and came off the bench early behind Quade Green and then became a starter and their best player at the end of the year.
Guys, the guy that he reminded me of coming out of college is Michael Carter-Williams. Guy with great size, played the point, was actually the rookie of the year in the NBA. He's fallen off a little bit, probably working on his game, but reminds me a lot of Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going to Charlotte. He's the 11th overall pick, going to Charlotte and trying to lift them as the Hornets try to get their fortunes going in the right direction under the leadership of Michael Jordan. They have James Borrego as the coach, Mitch Kupchak now the GM, and 2 times in the last 3 picks we've heard CATS, cats being called. Kevin Knox going to the Knicks, and now his teammate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on his way to Charlotte. There is John Calipari, who's proud of his night. Okay, we are hearing right now that perhaps Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just chosen by Charlotte, that this pick might be on the move right now as we check in with Woj. Woj, what are you hearing?
Yeah, Charlotte has agreed to a deal to send Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to the Clippers. The Clippers will send Charlotte back the 12th pick, the next pick of the draft, and 2 future second-round picks. The Clippers had been focused on getting a point guard out of this draft. They get the Kentucky point guard, and they'll still be able to draft 13th here in the first round.
So still a couple of lottery picks for the Clippers, and now they're going to get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, assuming that trade goes through, and the Kentucky point guard, who perhaps is not going to be on the East Coast, but rather headed west, is with Maria.
You're right, Reese, and Shai did say that his agent told him before he went on stage that he would be going to the Clippers. So what was your reaction to hearing that you'd be heading to the West Coast?
It's a great feeling, honestly, but being able to play in the NBA in itself is a blessing and something that not a lot of kids get to experience, and me being one of them is an amazing feeling.
Well, congratulations, Shai. Enjoy this.
Thank you.
All right, Shai, Maria, thank you very much. Mike Schmitz has been of the opinion that of all of the guards in the draft, that this is a guy you would have taken ahead of Young, ahead of Colin Sexton. Why?
The Clippers got the best point guard in the draft. 6'6", 7-foot wingspan, versatile defender. He's going to be able to guard 1s and 2s and eventually 3s. Has an outstanding feel for the game. Slithery and pick and roll. He's a finesse finisher. He's what teams are looking for in terms of feel, in terms of length and physicality. I really like what he's become. Originally committed to Florida, ended up at Kentucky. Like you said, Reese, wasn't a starter. He's really a self-made guy, and just a major win for the Clippers getting him at 11.
Okay, so you can keep up here, though the Clippers are on the clock right now. They're going to get Gilgeous-Alexander. Once the trade moves from being proposed into being official, it has to be approved by NBA legal. And now the Clippers are on the clock, and Woj just told us that this pick is going to be the one that winds up going to Charlotte instead. So to put it back in perspective, Gilgeous-Alexander fitting in with what the Clippers have right now. How do you like the pick?
I love it. I love it. I mean, you're getting a chance and an opportunity to play for Doc Rivers, who's one of the best coaches we have in our league. A few things I love about this kid. He makes his teammates better. And as a point guard, that's what you always want. Communicates well with his teammates, and he's just his size. He can affect both ends of the floor with his length, and he's a pesky defender. Love so much about him, and Smith is right. He could end up being the best point guard of the 3.
And the newest member of the Von Trapp family singers.
I don't know about that suit he got on. I don't know about that suit.
Somewhere there are curtains missing.
Yes. Okay, so now the pick is in. Clippers making it for the Hornets. Adam Silver coming back to the mic.
With the 12th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the LA Clippers select Miles Bridges from Michigan State University.
So Miles Bridges, the latest great basketball player to come from Flint Town, as Tom Izzo has another Spartan selected tonight, the second Michigan State player that has been picked in the lottery. Bridges left Flint Southwestern High School for Huntington Prep. His mom wanted him to go pro last year, but during his first year at Michigan State, he was alone in the basketball building, or so he thought. And some of the staff heard him walking through going, "I love this place." So he stuck around for a second year on the banks of the Old Red Cedar, had a good season, and now he's off to the NBA. Clippers selecting him, but this pick is going to Charlotte.
A powerful athlete. Miles Bridges is a lefty, super athletic, above the rim four-man. He's a wrecking ball in transition, a good shooter with his feet set. He's got an excellent shot fake and a very good rebounder, especially for his size. He excelled at Michigan State at the 4 spot, wound up with Jaren Jackson Jr. coming in this last year as a freshman, wound up moving to the 3. His rebounding is excellent at both ends of the floor. A very good offensive rebounder, a very good defensive rebounder. Averages over 8 rebounds per game for his career, and he can get up over people. But his strength is as a finisher because he is such a great athlete. Maybe the best dunker in this draft. A solid defender, and can defend bigger people, can defend on the perimeter, and zero ego. Another great kid in this draft.
Reminds me of a guy I competed against for a long time, the Matrix, Sean Marion. Get off the floor really quick, but I love, like you said, I love his size. Combination of size, quickness, athleticism, and power. Competes on both ends, unafraid of contact. I love what he's going to be able to do, and I don't know where he's going to be. If it's going to be the Hornets or it's going to be the Clippers. But whoever it is going to love coaching this kid.
Here's a proposed trade to the Hornets. Expected that it will go through, assuming that it does. Miles Bridges will be on his way to Charlotte. Right now, he's on his way to visit with Maria.
Yeah, he's got his Clippers hat on, but with that proposed trade, you could be a Hornet. Now, you didn't work out for Charlotte this season?
No, but I mean, I love the city of Charlotte. I know a lot of guys there, so I feel like it'll be great for me.
So your mom wanted you to go pro a season ago. You waited to go this year, and you're still a lottery pick. What does it mean to be walking across that stage?
Man, it's just a blessing to be here. I give all the glory to God, all the thanks to my mom. A shout out to Flint. I'm just blessed to be here.
And you're here with Coach Izzo, and what has he done for your game, and how will that make you an even better pro moving forward?
Coach Izzo, he just pushed me every day. He wanted me to be the best player, and I give all the grace to him, to God, everybody.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Shout out to Flint. Gotta like that skyline of Flint tattooed on Miles' back. Then this trade, we are told, is now official. That the Clippers will get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 11th pick. The Hornets will get the draft rights to Miles Bridges, the 12th pick. And the Clippers are back on the clock right now with the 13th pick in the draft. 13th pick in the draft last year turned out to be the best rookie. It was Donovan Mitchell who wound up going to Utah and was sensational. We'll visit with Donovan and see who the 13th pick in this year's draft will be.
This is the CIA's mission. You use a scalpel. I prefer a hammer.
You can't take the heat, don't light the fuse.
No hard feelings.
Whoever owns the place gotta drag me out.
CIA's been infiltrated. I don't trust anybody outside of this room.
He's an assassin.
You go rogue, he's been authorized to hunt you down and kill you.
This is a suicide mission.
I'm sorry, what?
Mission Impossible Fallout, July 27th.
I'm Captain Obvious, and Hotels.com rewards me basically everywhere I stay. So why am I stomping grapes with aerobics enthusiasts near this B&B? Or doing goat yoga at this mountain resort? Or treating a destination wedding to the sweet sound of pug bongos? Because Hotels.com lets me do me. Where are my dogs at? Oh, here they are. Hotels.com. You do you and get rewarded. Take it away, Henry.
Starting now, everyone gets the plan they want. Mom gets the unlimited she needs, Dad gets the unlimited he needs, the kids get the unlimited they need. Go mix and match.
Sounds awesome. One family can now get different unlimited plans, starting at $40 per line on the network you deserve.
Cheesy grooves, deep flavor, deep crunch.
It has grooves like deep valleys of flavor.
The grooviest cheese mountain ranges.
It's crunchy like a crater.
It's a cavern of crunch.
And bold like a volcano of cheese.
Or a bold cheese waterfall.
Cheesy grooves, cheese it like never before.
Oh yeah, we own this town. No one's gonna shut us down.
Driven deep to left field. It is gone. A grand slam.
The College World Series, presented by Capital One, continues tomorrow at 3 on ESPN.
Back here in Brooklyn Barclays Center for the NBA Draft. Our next WNBA matchup on ESPN2, Friday, 10 Eastern, 7 on the West Coast. Tina Charles and the Liberty taking on Asia Wilson and the Aces. You can watch it live on the ESPN app anywhere you are. Clippers have their second lottery pick. Let's go to the commissioner.
With the 13th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the LA Clippers select Jerome Robinson from Boston College.
Jerome Robinson, the high-scoring BC Eagle, is the first Boston College player ever taken in the lottery. Lottery started in 1985, and he is on his way to the Clippers after having just a sensational season. First-team all-conference performer in the ACC. Grew up in Raleigh, a fan of the Tar Heels, and then spent his career bedeviling not only the Tar Heels, but on his way to the Clippers after having just a sensational season. First-team all-conference performer in the ACC. Grew up in Raleigh.
With the Little Caesars mobile app, you can customize an extra most bestest pizza with the most cheese, and now with the most of any toppings for the nation's best price. It's the crowning pizza achievement. And it's true what they say. It's lonely at the top. Unless you have an extra most bestest pizza. Then it's a party at the top!
Little Caesars Extra Most Bestest Pizzas, the most cheese, and now the most toppings for the nation's best price, starting at $6.
Pizza. 24 on the clock. He pushes down court, splits the defense. Look at that crossover. Changes direction, goes around the back. With 10 seconds to win it, he's got to make a decision. He draws contact. He goes up and under. It's good. What an incredible finish.
When out with friends, you could tell the truth or a better version of it. Just ask Dos Equis, Sweden's most celebrated Mexican.
Cerveza. Oh, yeah. 2 X's.
Dos Equis. Keep it interessante.
I was wondering if an electric toothbrush really cleans better than a manual, and my hygienist says it does. But they're not all the same. Who knew? I had no idea. So she said, look for one that's shaped like a dental tool with a round brush head.
Go pro with Oral-B. Oral-B's rounded brush head surrounds each tooth to gently remove more plaque. And Oral-B is the first electric toothbrush brand accepted by the American Dental Association for its effectiveness and safety.
My mouth feels so clean. I'll only use an Oral-B.
Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
You can't be clear how much new car you can afford when it's unclear how much you can get for your current car. With pricing tools backed by 90 years of expertise, the Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash offer can bring things into focus. You can get an offer for your car now. Trade in or cash, you decide. And that's one less step between you and your next car. Kelley Blue Book, your car guide.
Yeah, he's good.
The lottery is now complete, but you don't have to pick in the lottery to get a gem. Since 2010, Eric Bledsoe was picked 18th overall. Avery Bradley, 19th by the Celtics. He's had a sensational career. Kawhi Leonard, about whom you will hear much more throughout the rest of the summer until he makes a decision. Jimmy Butler barely made it into the first round. The Greek Freak was 15th overall, and that's where we are in the draft now. Rudy Gobert barely in the first round. Kyle Kuzma, after his draft combine sensational performance last year, was the second highest scoring rookie in the NBA last year for the Lakers. Aaron Holiday from UCLA. Brothers Justin and Drew both play in the NBA, and Aaron had a great year for UCLA a season ago. Billis has been high on him. Would the Suns take him at 16? And behind whoever's standing in front of my camera, move, dude. I'm trying to see Dante DiVincenzo. There we go. Dante, the most outstanding player in the Final Four. Look, this guy has an exceptional vertical leap. He's not just a standstill shooter. I think he could be a gem in this second half of the first round. Wizards have a pick now. Adam Silver on the way.
We have another trade to announce. The Charlotte Hornets trade the draft rights to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 11th pick, to the LA Clippers for the draft rights to Miles Bridges, the 12th pick, and 2 future second-round picks. And with the 15th pick in the 2018 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Troy Brown Jr. from the University of Oregon.
Troy Brown, not here tonight, but an all-freshman team, honorable mention player in the Pac-12 this past season, JB.
Troy Brown Jr. is another guy who is long arms, 6'10 and a half wingspan. He's really versatile. He can do it all. He knows how to play, a very good skill level. He passes it well. More of a right-hand driver that's pretty good in pick and rolls. He improved his shooting throughout the course of the season under Dana Altman, and a solid defender. I wouldn't call him super athletic on the NBA level, but a good athlete. And he needs to improve his efficiency, but his versatility is really his calling card. He does everything pretty well.
To me, he reminds me a lot of Andre Iguodala, Swiss Army knife. Can do it all out there. Is not going to be a high-volume shooter. Will defend, will make other guys better. I think this is a very good pickup for this team.
Troy Brown Jr. played point guard until his senior year in high school. Had a growth spurt, got to improve that shooting, but certainly a coveted player and 15th overall pick by the Wizards. The Phoenix Suns, who had the #1 overall pick, are back on the clock with number 16. And it was the worst kept secret in all of basketball that DeAndre Ayton was going to be the #1 pick in the draft. Even though you knew it was going to happen, DeAndre, what was it like in the moments right before your name was called?
I mean, once the commissioner came up to the podium, I already knew, like, okay, this is about to happen. Whatever happens, happens. And as soon, I mean, he didn't hold it back. He just said, you know, he said what he had to say, and he called my name right away. I looked at my mom. I saw my auntie's reaction. I just knew it was like, okay, it's there. I hugged them. They tried my best to keep my emotions to myself. And when I shook his hand, that's when all my emotions started to kick in. And I just tried my best to hold it in as much as possible. But I was really proud, and dreams do come true.
Do you think of yourself as an emotional guy, usually?
I mean, yeah, I mean, not really, but, you know, today is my night. Today's our night, and, you know, hard work really pays off, and, you know, this is what success means. But, you know, once we, we're in the NBA now, and our hard work has just begun.
All right, now, some people think that once you get drafted that your work is over, except for maybe stopping by to see us. That's not at all how it's been. You gave the #1 signal, and then you were off to be pretty busy from that point forward, right? What's it been like since then?
I mean, it really took my mind from this night, and, you know, it really got me going on how the NBA works. You know, there's a lot of media, a lot of exposure, and, you know, you always got, no matter if you don't want to do it, you want to do it, you still have to do it. You know, that's your job now. It's a part of your life, and, you know, I learned that. And I learned how to, you know, speak more proper and, you know, just really have the best attitude possible.
First of all, congratulations, young pup.
Yeah,
they're going to be calling you Rook, so get used to it. But I say this, I've seen the picture of you and your mother right there. I've heard you a lot talk about your relationship with your mom, what you want to do for your country. Talk about a couple of those things you want to do for your family.
You know, through college, there was a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, her and I, we really went through it, you know, especially through false information. And, you know, we really tried to ignore the noise. You know, she's a prayer warrior. She prays a lot. You know, I'm playing on the court, and she's keeping faith. And, you know, back home, I'm representing the whole nation. You know, in my jacket, I have Nigeria, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. I'm not only a Bahamian, but I'm also Nigerian and Jamaican. I'm representing the whole Caribbean, and I just want to be the best role model possible. And I want to give back and do all the camps, do stuff that those players that came to the Bahamas, how they inspired me. I want to do the same as well.
That's right. That's right.
You know, DeAndre, we talk a lot about the new NBA being a perimeter-oriented game. Do you think with your skill set, your size, your athleticism, that you can be a dominant big man and take the NBA a little bit more toward
yes,
big guys again?
Most definitely, you know, but I'm never going to change the game to where I have to come outside and fall in love with the jumper. I just want to stay down low and, you know, be as dominant as possible in the game, in every game, to stay down low and then stretch the floor later on in the game. Like my coach used to say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, I want to stay down there, be dominant, especially on the glass, and be the best two-way player I can possible.
What do you think, DeAndre, about the maybe some mild criticism saying, well, does he block enough shots? Do you see yourself as being an elite rim protector in the NBA?
Most definitely. I haven't had the exposure in college to really guard big men, or, you know, the big men that I guard haven't really touched the ball or really did what they're supposed to do. I mean, I've guarded a lot of guards. Coach Miller really can really slide my feet, so I've been guarding guards for the whole season, so I really haven't had that experience and exposure to really be down low all the time. You know, Dusan Rishtick had down low, and I had the perimeter. So, I mean, I'm sure Coach Igor would really teach me how to do verticality and all those type of things.
DeAndre, we're going to take a look at the depth chart in Phoenix right now, and the Suns are on the clock. Has Ryan McDonough called you to ask who you would like for him to pick to play with you right now?
No, it's going to be a surprise, just like how it was a surprise for me.
Do you have a suggestion?
I mean, I don't know who's up right now. So, I mean, Aaron Holiday. Has he been picked
Aaron Holiday's still available.
I me's a great point guard. I would love to play Aaron Holiday. He's very smart. He took over UCLA. I mean, playing against him, he's so vocal. He's such a leader. And he's a point guard, but he's one of those old school point guards to where, like, yo, I want you to do this and this and this, and he's also showing that as well.
We were waiting on the pick to come in, and I briefly told the story of your dad taking you to work with him when you were a kid. And you lasted a week, and you got enough money to go to basketball camp? Yep. You think that investment has paid off pretty well?
That was the best investment I've ever had. You know, I didn't want to go at first. My mom wanted me out the house. She's like, you need to go work with Dad to register for this camp. And here I am today. That camp really opened up the biggest opportunity for me.
So what do you anticipate? What goals have you set for yourself in the rookie season?
I mean, really just listening to every veteran as possible, guys who came before me, having the most respect for them, and, you know, bring the best work ethic and bring my work ethic to the next level. You know, college is another thing, but this is a grown man's game, and, you know, there's a lot of superstars in this game, and, you know, I need to learn the tricks and trades and be under a veteran's wing and really know this game to the best.
Well, to be a veteran, you need to be able to handle the media, as you said. So the pick's in. How about if you throw it to Commissioner Silver now and find out who your teammate's going to be?
I don't know.
All you got to do is say the pick is in. Here's Commissioner Silver.
I mean, hopefully it's Aaron Holiday.
All right. Here we go. Let's see if DeAndre's right.
With the 16th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Zaire Smith from Texas Tech University.
Wow. Wow.
Defensive player.
Okay. You see DeAndre nodding. Zaire Smith is a very explosive player out of Texas Tech, but we are hearing that this pick is going to move from Phoenix and go to Philadelphia with the 76ers. That's what we're hearing right now. Let's check in with Woj. Woj, you have some details on this?
Guys, Philadelphia has traded the rights of Mikal Bridges to the Phoenix Suns for Zaire Smith, who's the 16th pick in the draft. The Suns will also send a 2021 first-round pick that they have from the Miami Heat to Philadelphia. So Mikal Bridges, who grew up dreaming of playing for the Sixers, mom works for the Sixers, he'll go to the Suns now.
All right, Woj, so after that feel-good moment, it seemed Mikal Bridges apparently on his way to Phoenix. Take a look at Mountain Dew Kickstart Rising Star Zaire Smith out of Texas Tech.
You know, Zaire Smith was not a highly recruited player. He wasn't a top 50 guy, but he is a world-class athlete. He's 6'4", 6'5". He's got a near 6'10" wingspan. He's got a 42-inch vertical and really stands out as a defender. An excellent offensive rebounder. You ask any coach in the Big 12, and they will tell you best athlete in the league by far and the most difficult to block out, and a really hard-working young man.
Now here's a guy who I compare him to, Avery Bradley. You talk about defensive pressure, picking up the ball full court, turn the guy 2 or 3 times, but being able to make athletic plays on the other end of the floor, too, and having a good mid-range jump shot.
Okay, so Zaire Smith, drafted by the Suns, apparently on his way to Philadelphia, is with Maria.
All right, Zaire, you had 2 workouts with the 76ers. So what have they told you about your potential role that you could play?
They really like me. They really like my game. The coach said it was interesting, and I look forward to seeing what happens.
Your entire story is interesting. You are the first non-ESPN 100 recruit to make it into the first round. So what does your story mean, or what have you learned from this journey you've been on?
As long as you keep working hard, good things going to happen. I put hours and hours in the gym, and it paid off.
A year ago, your whole thought was, I'll be playing my sophomore year at Texas Tech. I mean, what does it mean now to know that you're about to be a pro?
Man, that's crazy. I thought I was about to go in another year, probably dominate, but it's crazy. A dream come true.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maria, Zaire, thank you very much. DeAndre Ayton, the Suns' #1 overall pick, is with us. And DeAndre, you were sitting here when Woj broke the news that the proposed trade would send Mikal Bridges to be your teammate in Phoenix. What have you seen of Mikal? What do you think?
Most definitely a winner. You know, 2-time champion, you know, great shooter and long and athletic. You know, I've been watching him since Battle for Atlantis, what those guys been doing up there as a team. And, you know, he's the threat. You know, being so long and really stretch out the floor like that is just really crazy. And the way how he shoots the ball at that with his size is amazing. It's really deadly.
Well, we congratulate you. What a great night for you and your family. We wish you all the best in your first season and your entire career with the Suns.
Thank you so much.
Man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you for being with us.
Yes,
#1 overall pick in the draft. Big fella from Arizona staying in the desert. Still to come on our coverage, not far away from the Spurs being on the clock. They've got all kinds of drama with Kawhi. David Robinson and Vince Carter will join us for interviews. Trae Young, Dante DiVincenzo wired, and the Bucks are on the clock.
Okay, that's a one-piece breast, $5. Pot pie, costs you $5. That's a famous bowl, $5. Tenders for a $5, and that's my two-piece original recipe, also $5. That's 5 real meals, each for $5. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
This is a story about mail and packages. And it's also a story about people. People who rely on us every day to deliver their dreams. They're handing us more than mail. They're handing us their business. And while we make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country, we never forget that your business is our business. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
See?
Oh, dude, are you friends with a real robot?
What? No, man. It's my service.
Oh, that's not awesome at all.
Maybe you should switch to a more reliable network.
Switch? Just like that?
Switch to Boost's super reliable and super fast nationwide network and get 3 lines for $100 a month, each with unlimited gigs, and 20 gigs of mobile hotspot on each line. Plus, get up to 3 free phones.
Much better.
There it is. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Red Lobster's Lobster and Shrimp Summerfest is back with lobster and shrimp together in so many new ways, like new cedar plank seafood bake, roasted to perfection, or new Caribbean lobster and shrimp. But hurry in, Lobster and Shrimp Summerfest won't last.
We know some summers can last a lifetime. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Make this summer last at Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's with Family Summer Camp. Plus, get great deals on great gear, like this Igloo 48-quart cooler for under $20, and this Mr. Steak 5-burner propane grill for under $600. Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.
Hear that sizzle? Red Lobster's Lobster and Shrimp Summerfest is back with lobster and shrimp together in so many new ways, like new cedar plank seafood bake, roasted to perfection, or new Caribbean lobster and shrimp. But hurry in, Lobster and Shrimp Summerfest won't last.
Welcome back to the NBA Draft 2018, presented by State Farm. 17th pick on the clock. That is the Milwaukee Bucks. Here's what has happened in this NBA Draft up to this point. Phoenix Suns, for the first time in franchise history, had the #1 overall pick. They took DeAndre Ayton out of Arizona as expected. DeAndre was just with us here on the set. What an engaging young man. And he's gargantuan, too. Until you're beside him, I don't know if you can fathom just how big this dude is. Dallas made a deal with Atlanta. They got the guy they coveted, and Luka Doncic. Doncic just off a championship in the Spanish League and also a EuroLeague championship. Perhaps the most accomplished international player ever to be selected in the lottery. And then Trae Young on his way to Atlanta as the pick was made by Dallas and sent to Atlanta. The nation's leading scorer will ply his trade with the Hawks. And Michael Porter Jr., amidst concerns about his medical condition coming off back surgery at Missouri, went to the very last slot in the lottery, and the Denver Nuggets took him with the 14th overall pick. And now the Bucks, needing someone to go with the Greek Freak, had a fine season this year. Let's see who the Bucks take at number 17. Here's Adam Silver.
With the 17th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Donte DiVincenzo from Villanova University.
The most outstanding player of the Final Four of the national champions of Jay Wright, Donte DiVincenzo, sophomore guard from Villanova, had 31 points in the championship game. No one from a winning team had had more since the field expanded. Danny Manning put up 31. Glenn Rice put up 31, just as DiVincenzo did. They call him the Big Ragu, and he is a big leaper in addition to being a tremendous shooter. As we take a look at one of the Mountain Dew Kickstart Rising Stars, they call him the Michael Jordan of Delaware, right, Bill? It's Donte DiVincenzo.
Well, they should call him the Michael Jordan of Delaware. You mentioned how he can jump. A 42-inch vertical measured at the Combine. And the Combine was where he really popped and really stood out. In addition to that, tremendous performance in the NCAA title game against Michigan. Donte DiVincenzo averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists for Villanova last year. He shot over 40% from three-point range as a sixth man, coming off the bench and filling in wherever it was necessary. He's got a very good mind for the game. He is terrifically athletic, solid in pick-and-roll situations, and he can shoot it. Catch and shoot or pull up. And we've seen him rise to the occasion in the biggest games and on the biggest stages. But I thought where he showed his competitiveness was at the Combine. Had a great first day when a lot of people said, hey, you need to shut it down, don't play the second day. He said, no, I'm playing. I came here to play, I'm playing. Played even better the second day.
First of all, guys, I think this is a great pick by the Bucks. It's something that they need, but he reminds me of a guy that I played against at the end of my career a little bit, and that is Tyler Johnson. Gets up off of the floor, very athletic, can defend, plays really hard every single game. I'm very, very impressed with this pick because I think they need it.
You step in here, too, you got a guy that doesn't necessarily have to have the ball all the time. I mentioned his sensational performance against Michigan in the national championship game. Since 1980, you see the names John Morton of Seton Hall lost in that championship game to Glenn Rice in Michigan. So DiVincenzo's championship game performance, one for the ages. Since 1980, only Morton has scored more points. There's Jay Wright, Dante's dad. I'm sure Jay thought that he was going to have Donte around for another year, but he is now with Maria Taylor and on his way to the box.
Well, you know, Donte, last time we saw you on a stage, you were receiving the trophy for the most outstanding player in the Final Four. So how does that moment compare to shaking the commissioner's hand?
That was unbelievable. That was a connection and a bond that I shared with my teammates. And this is, they set me up to be here. Coach Wright set me up to be here, and it's just a blessing to be in this position right now.
How much time have you spent around the Bucks organization, and what do you know about the role they want you to play there?
I got to visit there. I got to sit down with the whole front office and the coaches, and I mean, I really loved it. I really loved it. We talked for a very long time. Some of the players were there working out, so I got to talk to them, and it's just going to be a great feeling once I get there.
Have you talked to Giannis at all?
I have not. I have not talked to Giannis. He was at my pro day, though, so.
Okay, so he's on like American food tour, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to throw out a food stuff for him to try and eat. What would it be?
I got to tell him to try my mom's homemade pasta. I got to bring that for him.
Of course, the Big Ragu would say that. Of course. Reese, Donte, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There's Dante's mom. Make a little pasta. You can send some up this way at any time if you'd like to as well. So Donte DiVincenzo going to Milwaukee, and that puts the San Antonio Spurs on the clock. And the Spurs are in the midst right now of a ton of drama with Kawhi Leonard. Has it been an untenable situation after the two sides have gotten sideways over Leonard and his injury? Here's a timeline just to remind you of what happened last September. A quad injury, missed 27 games, also suffered a partial tear in his shoulder. Now the Spurs doctors cleared him to play, but Leonard wanted a second opinion, went to some doctors outside the team, and ultimately did not play the rest of the season, regular season and postseason. Wound up playing in just 9 games for the Spurs, and then the word came that perhaps Leonard wanted out of San Antonio, despite the fact that that's going to cost him some significant money if he doesn't go back in terms of the max contract that he can sign. He can become a free agent after this upcoming season. Greg Popovich, as has been well reported, wants to meet face-to-face with Kawhi to see where these two sides are. And one of the things that's unusual about this from San Antonio's standpoint, this franchise has long been the picture of stability with its stars, whether it was David Robinson or Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. And it seems pretty unusual now to have a guy who is ready to assume that torch to perhaps want out.
One thing you alluded to is all of those stars, David Robinson, Duncan, Kawhi now, Manu, Parker, they were all drafted as Spurs. They weren't free agents. It's not a free agent destination, if you will. So it's tough to get that kind of talent in that city for that organization. So you want to try to work it out as best you can with a guy who, he was my favorite player in the league, actually, when he's healthy. So you try all you can do to try to keep that and mend that relationship.
And as you mentioned, you know, Kawhi, Parker, Ginobili, all were drafted by San Antonio outside the lottery. You know, obviously Duncan and Robinson were #1 picks, but they've gotten good value over the years. They've been very intelligent drafting and finding the right player for them outside the lottery. And then they've got another one right here.
And mainly because of their player development. I mean, the player development system that they have, they're probably the best in our league. I mean, nobody thought that Manu and Tony Parker would be Hall of Famers coming in late picks like that in the draft, but they've made them Hall of Famers, Coach Popovich and his crew.
The Spurs don't know exactly whether they're planning for their future, at least not publicly, whether it would be without Kawhi or with him, and whether we get an indication of their plans from this pick remains to be seen. Here's the commissioner.
With the 18th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Lonnie Walker IV from the University of Miami.
Lonnie Walker IV on his way to San Antonio. Receive the embrace with his dad. Lonnie's dad, when he was a kid, made him read for an hour every day before he could go out and play. This is a guy with a lot of interest, loves the Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. And when Jim Larrañaga was recruiting him, as you see him hugging Jim Larrañaga there, sometimes they would talk about why Jaguars were able to catch ostriches when they should have been able to. It wasn't always basketball with Lonnie. I did several of his games. Really engaging young man and a terrific athlete and player. And he showed some of that athleticism, particularly after he got healthy. Time for looking ahead with Lonnie Walker here, Jay.
And you mentioned how he got healthy. Last summer, Lonnie Walker tore his meniscus, and then he tweaked it again this last year at Miami. But he's an elite athlete with elite length. A little bit of a streaky shooter, but hit 3 or 4 game winners this year for the Hurricanes, especially toward the end of the year. He's got a ton of potential. Shoots 35% from 3, knocks down 75% of his free throws, so he can make shots. I think he needs to improve his handle and his consistency. But you mentioned it, Reese. He's a terrific kid. But he's got an NBA body. He's got form on his jumper. The question is his defense and his handle. If he improves there, he could be a steal in this draft in San Antonio.
Jay, he reminds me of a young D. Wade. I mean, excellent, solid body, strength. Has an unbelievable set of God-given tools. Can score at all 3 levels on the basketball court, and he has potential to develop into a wing defender with that athleticism.
Lonnie Walker IV has been an inspiration to people in his hometown of Reading, Pennsylvania. He sent a letter to his hometown and fans thanking them for helping him prepare for his freshman season at Miami. He thanked Reading High School, where he led them to their first state title, and told young kids there to continue to work on your skill regardless of whether it's basketball, art, chemistry, whatever it was, and to believe in yourself. Look at me, he said. I'm just a kid from Reading, and there's a watch party in Reading, PA, and this is the moment that they've waited on to see where their hometown hero, Lonnie Walker IV, would wind up, and he's going through a great situation in San Antonio. It's time for Lonnie Walker IV to look ahead, and it's brought to you by Wells Fargo. Maria is with the newest Spur.
Well, there's a watch party in Reading, PA. There's a welcome party here as Lonnie Walker joins the Spurs. The Admiral's here, so welcome him.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to the Spurs.
All right, let's start, though, with the watch party and what it means for you, because you could have easily left Reading, PA, and gone to a different school, but you decided to stay, Lonnie. Why was it so important to you?
It's just so important because at the end of the day, it's bigger than basketball. You know, I got the opportunity to create my message through basketball and, you know, got to motivate the youth. You know, just like anything, I'm just a kid from Reading.
What do you feel like you would like Lonnie to know about the organization that he's joining right now?
Yeah, no, the great thing is that they will take good care of you. And Pop is a guy you got to just trust. He'll put you in a position where you can be successful. And you're going to thrive there. You're going to love it. Good group of guys, and they're going to support you.
Yeah. Now I want you to tell this guy what he can expect from your play, because it is his organization now. He's going to be watching you closely. What are the expectations he should have for you?
you just expect hard work, dedication. You know, day in and day out, I'm always going to progress as a man on and off the court. And, you know, sooner or later, that name's going to get big and we're going to shock the world. Absolutely.
Now, we know, Lonnie, that you love all things National Geographic. You are a worldly man and you love psychology. So put this moment into words for you.
It's extravagant. You know, I truly can't put this feeling as of right now, but man, I can only thank my mom, my dad, family, and friends for supporting me through the grind, and you know, we're finally here.
Well, I know that, David, you'll be watching Lonnie for a long time, but a guy that's been watching Lonnie since he was in high school is Mike Schmitz. He's standing by.
Lonnie Walker to the Spurs could be the steal of the draft. His game pops at the NBA level, 6'5", 6'11" wingspan, explosive athlete, can shoot it on the move. The main reason why he fell in this draft, some concerns about his medical. He was getting looks in the late lottery, even in the top 10. So if he's able to stay healthy in a few years, I really think he's a guy we're going to look back at as the steal of this draft. Woj?
Chris Caputo, University of Miami assistant, spent time with the Spurs at their veteran mini camp that they had 2 weeks ago. Spurs GM R.C. Buford and their staff, they were able to pump Caputo for information to understand Lonnie Walker better. He's a unique kid. The highest, really the highest decorated high school player to ever pick the University of Miami, and that was certainly one of the factors in their research that helped them come to a decision tonight on Walker.
Woj, I agree with Mike. I love the pick. I actually love the last two of Walker to San Antonio, DiVincenzo going to Milwaukee, and now the Hawks are up. They'll get their second player of the night, their second first-round pick.
With the 19th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Kevin Huerter from the University of Maryland.
They like to call Kevin Huerter the Red Mamba, a sharp shooter who played point guard growing up, Jay.
Kevin Huerter put his name into the draft to quote-unquote test the waters. And the water must have felt awfully good for Huerter because he is picked in the top 20 in the draft. He is an NBA-level shooter. He's got an excellent stroke, shot 42% from three. He may have the best footwork of any shooter in the draft. Very good off screens and good in transition. He's a good player.
I really like him. Reminds me a lot of Mike Miller, the younger Mike Miller. I might.
Good in transition. He's a good player.
I really like him. Reminds me a lot of Mike Miller, the younger Mike Miller, I might add, in Orlando. Very athletic. Can put the